Hey there guys, I recently watched the Summer Games Fest and I have to admit that I was rather disappointed. It seems that gaming still has a huge problem of not really making good games. I was surprised how little we are getting, and it doesn't really give me hope for the future of gaming. There were a few games that looked promising, but they were games that I'm not interested in. I hate how there is a huge lack of new games that I like to play. I feel like it's not a nostalgia thing, but it's me looking for something more. A lot of the new games these days look like they are very niche, and when a game is niche, it is usually appeals to a specific group of people that it's made for. I said it in the PlayStation State of Play. It seems that gaming is struggling to create anything outside of Souls games. These days, the only direction of video games is AAA, live service, Souls-like, and indie, with AAA being the exception. It seems that most of the games you are getting are either live service, Souls-like, or indie, and that basically makes up most of the Summer Games Fest, with a good amount of the Summer Game Fest being mostly indie, which I am very unhappy with, because the problem I have with indie is that a lot of their games are just throwaway games. They are games that you can't really criticize because they're either made by a small studio or in many cases they are even made by one person. And if you say anything bad about indie games, that will usually be people's defense, is that an indie game is not supposed to be perfect. And I feel that if you're charging money for a game, then you should expect a finished product. The Summer Games Fest is about 2 hours long, and for most of that it was just indie games with the occasional AAA game sprinkled in. And even with live service games, there was even an indie live service game that I legitimately rolled my eyes to, because live service games only function to make money, and whether the game is free or not, if the game doesn't perform to the standards of the publisher, then they usually shut the game down. Doesn't matter how many in-game purchases you made, doesn't matter how long you've been playing the game, they will still shut it down. And this is why I'm not a fan of live service games. For the people who didn't watch the Summer Games Fest, don't worry, you didn't miss out on much. You really didn't miss out on much. And it was so much so to the point of where I skipped a lot of the other game festivals. I really couldn't be bothered to watch all of them. The needle isn't really being moved here, and it's more so the same thing every year, of where we are only waiting for a handful of games. And this is something I have stated many times. This is why in most cases I find myself trying to buy old games that I am either revisiting or that I missed out on when they came out, so that I can try them out. I struggle to find anything new that makes me want to pull out my money and buy it. And in most cases, when I see something new that interests me a little bit, I usually think to myself, maybe when it goes on sale. If you would rewind back to years like 2010 or years like 2013, or where we were mainly getting AAA games, or where it could be anywhere from a new Call of Duty to a new Need for Speed game, things have changed so much over the years, of where we only get about a few big AAA games from well-established franchises, maybe every 3 to 5 years, sometimes maybe even 7 years. And because of the fact that games are taking longer to make, there are so many games that are supplemented in between, which are usually indie, and people are wondering why such games like Repo and Schedule 1 are some of the top selling games of 2025, is because when there is no AAA, it's anyone's chance to upset the market. This will most likely be the last time I cover any sort of game fest. It's a real waste of time to wait so long just to see only a few games. It's best to do your own research and keep up with the latest gaming news through other sources, because these days you're way more likely to get disappointed if you watch the Summer Games Fest, and if you found something that you're genuinely happy about and that you're hyped for, I'm happy for you. And with that, this is the Chilly Man signing off. I thank everyone for watching. Peace out.